Hello and welcome. So, we're actually in the cabin today because it's been such a beautiful day that it's lovely and warm in here, and so I don't need the heating on. And I just thought, why not invite you into this amazing space where I teach Thai massage, I teach Swedish massage, sports massage, and I teach yoga as well. So welcome to Sunday evening, Pyjama Yoga, and it's a brief introduction to Yin Yoga if you've never done it before. If you have done it before, then you can just lie down and start to breathe and close your eyes. So for those people who haven't done this type of yoga before, you very much do just as much as you want to do or as little as you want to do. There's not an awful lot to see. We hold a lot of the positions for quite a long time, and it's all about how we're tuning in to how we're actually feeling today. So listen to what I'm saying, hopefully, and if you drift off, you drift off. That's completely fine. But we always start lying on our back, and maybe we sit up, maybe we don't. We don't really move too much. Just listen, think about how your body's feeling today. If your mind just wanders, that's completely fine. Hopefully you'll come back to what I'm saying when you're ready. And it'll last probably about 40 minutes, this class. So if I were you, I would turn off your phone and any other distractions as much as you can, and see if we can find a little moment of stillness, a little moment of relaxation for you so that we can start the week feeling completely energized. So lie down on your back, and if you need pillows or cushions or anything else, then please get them. You can have them under your legs or under your head, whichever you prefer. And we can start with our legs bent or our legs straight. So sometimes when we first lie down, it's more comfortable for us to keep our legs bent so the feet are flat to the floor and the knees are pointing up to the ceiling. But if you know that you're comfortable with your lower back with straight legs, you can come straight to that, or some version in between. So for me, I'm going to start with my legs bent. I'm going to take the feet a little bit further apart so they're wider than the hip distance, and I'll drop the knees in towards each other just so I can fully let go through my back, through my legs, and we can start to think about finding some softness through the back of the shoulders into the arms, allowing the head to be heavy to the floor. And if you're comfortable to close your eyes, then have your eyes closed. And we're going to allow our breath to slow down. So we're not going to force it to slow down. But if it's comfortable for you to keep your lips closed, your mouth closed, then do that. And we'll breathe in and out through our nose. If it's not comfortable for you to do that, and we are in hay fever season, and it's been a hot day today, so just have a small gap in your mouth. The lips are relatively close to each other, and you can allow the breath to slow down in that way. So we're going to allow the back of the head to be heavy down to the floor. And we're going to think about letting go through the back of the shoulders and through the arms, all the way down to the hands, the fingers and thumbs. And as we allow the head to be heavy, we see if we can find some softness through the face. So sometimes it helps to find a little softness through smiling a little, particularly through the forehead. Just lets go of some of those frowns, those creases, those lines in the forehead and above the nose. And we're going to think about breathing in and breathing out. And you'll notice that the body rises up as you breathe in and drops back down to the floor as you breathe out. Think about broadening out across the bridge of the nose, across the cheekbones, all the way out to where the ears attach, close to the face. Often we're holding on to tension there, particularly between the lower and upper jaw. So let's see if we can find a little space between those teeth at the back of the mouth, the upper and lower teeth. Let's see if we can find some softness through the tongue, just being aware of where it's sitting, and we're not pushing it too far forwards or too high up into the bridge of the mouth. Breathing in and breathing out. And as our breath slows down, it gives us a bit more time to take in a little bit more breath and to let go of a little bit more breath. So the pace slows down naturally. The chest rises up as we breathe in, and we drop heavy down to the floor as we breathe out. See if we can allow the top of the arms to drop a little heavier down to the floor. Maybe we can focus on letting go of the tension through the upper arms, the elbows heavy into the floor, and find some softness through the forearms. Now the hands may be placed on the belly, on the chest, a combination of that, or resting on the floor by the side of your body. If it's comfortable for you to have the palms facing up, and that just helps allow the arms to roll outwards. But if that's uncomfortable for you and you prefer the arms in a different position, I'll just have them in a place that's comfortable for you. We breathe in, the chest rises up. We expand our lungs into the space that's created by the widening of the rib cage. And we let go of the tension as we breathe out, allowing the back of the rib cage to be heavy down to the floor. Bring our focus down to the belly. So often we're holding our belly in or holding tension there. I want you to think about really allowing the belly to expand right up to the ceiling. And dropping back down to the floor as you breathe out. So as we breathe in, it moves up and out to the sides. As we breathe out, it comes back to a soft and more neutral position. And maybe we can start to be aware of how it feels through the lower back. How it feels into our glute muscles, so those muscles in the bum. How it feels through the back of the pelvis, all the way to the back of the legs, the top of the back of the legs, where our sitting bones are. If your legs are bent and it's comfortable for you to straighten them, then you can straighten them, otherwise you can keep them bent. Just noticing what's comfortable for you. Breathing in, finding that length all the way down to the tops of the legs, the front and back of the legs. Breathing out, letting go of that tension, finding that softness, welcoming the softness into our body wherever we notice a tightness or an area of pain or discomfort. Notice how it feels through the back of the legs all the way down to the back of the knees. Noticing how it feels all the way down through the back of the lower legs, through the calf muscles, and into the heels. If the legs are straight, the heels are heavy into the floor. And we find some softness through the soles of the feet, all the way to the toes, to the very tips of the toes, and we notice the spaces between the toes. Taking our breath all the way down to the feet. Maybe we can feel some subtle movement all the way down as we breathe in. Letting go through the whole of the body, the back of the body heavy down to the floor as we breathe out. And seeing if we can think about a lightness through the front of the body. So up through the lower leg, particularly the muscles around the shin bones, from the front of the ankles all the way up to the knees. See if we can allow ourselves to soften around the knees, letting go of any holding of the muscles in the legs, particularly bringing our attention to the front of the thighs. Letting go through the back of the shoulders. Letting go all the way into our hips. Into our belly, expanding up to the ceiling as we breathe in. Softening down as we breathe out. Bring our focus up through the center of the body, through that belly button, up to the rib cage. Feeling that expansion through the chest as we breathe in, all the way up to our collarbones. Finding some softness through the neck if we can. And letting go of any tension, particularly around the neck, around the shoulders. Finding the softness through the face as the head drops heavy to the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. So we'll bend the legs, if they're not bent already. Bring the feet flat to the floor, the knees pointing up to the ceiling, and let's just have a little rock of the knees from side to side. Now the movement can be quite small or bigger depending on what's comfortable for you. We don't go to our full movement just yet. We're starting to wake up those muscles through the legs, into the hips. Maybe you can feel the muscles in the lower back. Maybe you're aware of how it feels through the front of the body. Maybe you feel that movement up through the spine and into the shoulders. So the movement comes from the legs. They're driving the movement. And we're going to see if we can match that movement somehow to our breath. So you might find that you want to breathe out as you take the knees down to one side. You may want to breathe in as you bring them back up to the center. Breathing out as you take them to the other side. And maybe that movement is a little bigger now as you're connecting it to your breath. Especially if the breath is nice and slow, try and match the movement. So we're not trying to get to our destination, we're just trying to enjoy the journey. Breathing in. If it makes sense for you, as you bring them up to the center, breathing out as you take them down to the side. And we're going to keep this movement nice and slow, nice and connected to our breath. We're going to start to add in some movement through the neck. So we might feel we want to turn the head to the other direction of the knees. Bring them back to the center as the knees come to the center. Dropping the head to the other side as the knees go to the other side. If you prefer, you can take the knees and the face in the same direction. It really depends on you, whether you like a sort of twisting feel or not. You can try both and see which one you prefer. As we bring the knees down to this side, we're just going to pause. So we're going to see if we can find a good position for ourselves. We may need to adjust the feet, the knees, the hips. We may need to adjust the head to make the most of the turning of the head. Notice how it feels through the neck. Maybe lifting up the shoulders and dropping them a bit further down, away from the head, if we feel like they've scrunched up. We're going to allow our head to be as heavy to that one side as possible. And sometimes we continue to feel the movement, even though to someone else it might look like we're being still. We find a way to soften and to release into the outside of that bottom leg. Noticing how it feels through the inside of that bottom leg and how it feels on the other side. Letting go of any holding wherever you notice it. Allowing ourselves to soften into the position. So we're going to breathe in and we bring the knees back to the center, the head back to the center. We're just going to pause in the middle just to make sure that we've come back to a neutral position after being in that twist for a few breaths. And we'll breathe in together. And as we breathe out, we'll take the knees in the other direction, rotating the head or the neck to face the other way. Adjusting the shoulders and the arms to make sure that we have that space between the face and the shoulders. Think about breathing in into the rib cage and letting go through the back of the shoulders as we breathe out. Noticing how it feels through the outside of this bottom leg on this side. Notice how it feels through the knees. So if your knees feel at all uncomfortable, just ease yourself out of the twist a little bit to a position that is more comfortable for you. So we're not looking for pain at any time. Maybe there might be a mild discomfort. We want to focus on letting go. and releasing, using our breath. Letting go through the outside of the hips, the inside of the thighs. And let's breathe in, bring the knees and the face back to the center, adjusting our position. Make sure we're comfortable. Adjusting the lower back, the arms, the hands, the shoulders, the head. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to bring the knees into the chest. So we'll bring one knee in, followed by the other. And we can hold on to those legs in a place that's comfortable for us. So we reach the arms forwards. We can have a little rock when we're here. So we can hold around the front of the legs, the shins, the knees, or we can hold around the back of the legs if that's more comfortable for us. It's not about bringing the thighs in close. We take it to a position where we can let go through the back of the shoulders as much as possible. And we can start to tune in to how it feels across the front of the thighs. For some people, this can be a really strong position. For some of you, it probably feel really easy. Even if it's easy, we want to tune in to the subtleties of how our legs are feeling, how it feels all the way to the feet. Find that softness through the front of the thighs. Notice how it feels across the front of the knees and deep into the hip flexors. The breath in the belly, or using the belly, is a little bit more restricted, so we have to expand more. Through the rib cage, out to the sides of the body. We notice it more through the back of the thighs, into our glute muscles. And then from here, we're going to take the feet up towards the ceiling. So we're straightening out the legs, and we'll just take some movement in the feet. Some little circles around and around. And when we're ready, we can find some stillness here. So keeping the legs up in the air. Noticing how it feels here. Notice how it feels through the back of the thighs. We can hold on to the legs if that's comfortable for us, or we can take the arms down by the side. Notice how comfortable or otherwise it is. We want to try and see if our lower back stays connected to the floor. So we don't want to lift the back up away from the floor. It's too much tension then going through the back of the body. If we find it difficult to keep our legs straight or straight-ish up in the air, and we can hold on. Sometimes that helps. We can allow the legs to bend more. So I have a couple more breaths here. Breathing in breathing out. And then we'll take the legs wide, just till we feel some stretch down the inside of the thigh. Now if you've got a wall handy, then you can rest your foot on the wall. That just allows us to find a little bit more softness, allows ourselves to let go a little bit more. A couple more breaths with the legs wide in this position. And then from here, keeping the legs wide, we're going to bend the legs so the knees come down towards the armpits. And we can stay holding on to the back of the thighs. Or we can bring our hands round to the front of the shins, the ankles. Or we might bring them to the sides of the feet for our happy baby. So don't reach up too high. It's not about straining, it's not about finding the perfect position. It's about finding some softening, some release, so the belly can rise up into that space between the legs as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we can allow ourselves to soften a little bit more. We can go through the back of the shoulders. So if we're reaching up too high and that's straining through the shoulders, then we can bring our hands back to the back of the thighs, the back of the knees maybe. And to see if we can allow ourselves to soften. So if at any time this feels like it's too much for you, then allow the legs to bend more, bring the feet closer to the bum, or bring the feet all the way down to the floor. It's up to you. No one's watching you. You can do whatever you like. Breathe in fully. Breathe out. We're going to keep the knees where they are, but we're going to start to bring the feet towards each other. And we're going to reach through between the knees, allow the feet to drop closer to the bum, but the knees are wide. Trying to show you. So we've got a stretch through the inside of the thighs here. We can hold on again to wherever is comfortable for us. If we prefer to have our hands on the knees, they can stay there. They can be on the shins, can be on the ankles, they can be on the feet. It really depends on our level of flexibility, and there's no right way or wrong way to do it. There's just your way to do it. We do it in a way where we can allow some softness to come into the body. Breathing in, the belly rising high between the thighs. Breathing out, everything through the back of the body drops heavy down to the floor. As we allow ourselves to soften and to let go. As always, the challenge with a yin position is finding the stillness, allowing the mind to slow down, to let go of a little of that chatter that's permanently there. And just tuning into how our body's feeling. Breathing in breathing out. So we're going to let go of whatever we've got hold of. We'll bring the knees back towards each other. Comfortable position for you with the knees into the chest, holding on to them wherever's comfortable. Little rock, taking the knees, the body from side to side. And then we're going to keep hold of this right knee and drop the left foot down to the floor. Maybe we feel like we can bring the right knee in a little closer here. Let go through the back of the shoulders. Sometimes just bringing the one foot down is enough for us to let go of any holding, any tension that might have been there. And maybe we weren't aware of it. Keep hold of this right knee and we're going to stretch the left leg long along the floor. So as the left leg goes long, the right knee might move a bit further away from the chest. We're looking to be heavy through the back of this straight leg, even right up to the hip. So if we pull the bent leg in too far, we struggle to allow that straight leg to be heavy. So we just allow the knee to move away from the chest as much as possible. And then we're going to drop this right knee down to the floor. We're going to drop the right knee over towards the left side. Noticing how it feels through the inside of that thigh and the outside of the leg into the outside of the hip. If this feels good, comfortable, how you like it, and you want to stay here, then stay here. Really take it to where we want to. If we want to take the foot a bit further out, away from the straight leg, to drop the knee in a little bit more, a bit closer down towards the floor, you can do that. If it's comfortable for us, and only if it's comfortable for us, we might choose to reach for that foot, that ankle, with our right hand, and allow the right knee to come down towards the floor. So obviously if you've got any pain in your knees in this position, we make sure that we don't bring the knee too far down. We start to feel this stretch through the front of the thigh, particularly the outside of the thigh. Maybe we feel the stretch around the knee. As long as it's a stretch, and we're able to find a softness through the body as we continue to hold the position. And that's the right place for us. If we find that it's too difficult, then we bring the knee a bit further up and the knee, foot a little bit closer to the other leg. So it's totally up to us, wherever's comfortable for us. Only reach round for that foot or ankle if it's within an easy reach. Otherwise the arms can be down by the side and the foot can be further away. Just noticing how it feels around the knee still. So if at any point it feels uncomfortable or painful, then we back off. But we allow ourselves to feel softness through the lower back in this position as much as possible. Sometimes as we continue to hold, as long as we've not gone too far into it, sometimes we can soften a bit more. And we might feel very different today to how we feel on other days, and that's fine. We're just working with how we feel right now, right here. Letting go through the back of the shoulders, expanding fully through the front of the body as we breathe in. And breathe out, allowing the lower back to be heavy down to the floor, so we're not tilting too far over to one side. Have a few more breaths in this position. The breath nice and slow. Full breaths in through the rib cage, expanding through the front of the body down to the sides, dropping heavy down through the back of the body as we breathe out. And then if we have got hold of the foot, we're going to slowly let go, walk that foot back in towards the other knee. The right knee comes up towards, pointing up to the ceiling. And then we're going to straighten both legs again. So have a little rock of the hips. I'm just going to take the time, just a few breaths here, to notice how it feels one side compared to the other and see if we notice a difference at all. If we notice a difference, just making a mental note of that for ourselves. And letting go of any tension that might have crept in to how it feels today. And then when we're ready, we can bend the legs again, both legs, feet flat to the floor. A little lifting up of the bum before you bring it back down again, making sure that everything is relaxed as much as possible. I'm going to keep this right foot where it is. We'll bring the left knee into the chest and hold on to that left leg in a position that's comfortable for you. We're going to wait. Allow our legs to soften into this position, particularly across the front of the thigh, maybe across the front of the knee. Maybe you notice it all the way up to those hip flexors at the very top of the front of the leg, where it crosses the hips. And maybe this knee or this thigh softens a little bit more, maybe automatically comes in a bit closer to the chest, but only if that is how it feels for you. We're going to keep the left leg where it is, and we're going to straighten the right leg down along the floor. So we've got a straight leg. Our left knee maybe moves away from the chest a little bit more. Remember, we can hold on to this left leg in any position that's comfortable for us. Letting go through the back of the shoulders. Notice how it feels across the back of the thigh, particularly our sitting bones and into our glutes. Allowing our leg to soften as much as possible, making sure we're not holding on through the straight leg. Breathing in, breathing out. And then from here we're going to let go of that leg and we're going to drop the left foot to the floor this time. Just allow the back of the hips to let go through the back of the shoulders. And we'll walk that left foot out to the side, and we'll drop the knee in towards the other knee. So you may want to walk it out a long way, or maybe just a little way. Maybe the knee comes down a long way towards the other leg, or maybe just a little bit. If you feel that you want to bring that left foot up closer to the left hand and drop the knee down towards the floor, you can do that. But just taking the leg into a position that works for you. Making sure that we're not straining around the knee, that we're not holding through the leg too much. We're as comfortable as we can be. The position of the foot isn't important at this stage. So we're not aiming for a perfect position. So you might find that the foot goes out at right angles to the lower leg, or maybe you find that the foot points more towards your lower back. Whatever feels right for you is the right position. Only you can tell how it feels. Breathe in and out. Checking that the chin isn't pointed too high up to the ceiling. We have some length down the back of the neck. As we continue to hold, maybe we find a bit more softness. Checking in with how it feels through the lower back. Obviously, if we feel any pain around the knee, around the hip, around the thigh, we ease our way out of it. Remember, our position at the beginning is with the knee pointed quite high up, maybe dropped in slightly towards the other leg. So whatever is right for you. But wherever we are, maybe as we continue to hold, we can allow ourselves to let go a little bit more, or to find a bit more softness. Breathing in fully, expanding through the belly. And find that softness through the lower back. Encouraging our tissues to let go. So just a few more breaths in this position. Breathing in. Breathing out. And we're going to start to bring the knee up more vertical from here. Walking that foot back towards the other knee. And then we're going to straighten out the leg. Adjusting the back of the shoulders, the back of the hips, a little rock through the hips. And notice how our legs feel now, compared to how they felt at the very beginning, and how they felt before we did our left side. Maybe we notice a difference, maybe we don't. So we come to our final position. So we can stay in this exact position now, if that's comfortable for us. If we need to bend the legs, we can bring the knees up towards the ceiling. If we have bolsters or cushions, we might want to grab hold of one of those and place it under our legs. Maybe allows us to let go a little bit more easily. We check the position of the hands. Let go of the shoulders. Find the softness through the feet. Notice how our legs feel through the lower legs up to the knees. From the knees up through the thighs to the hips, to our glute muscles, those muscles in the bum, to our belly. Notice how the belly rises up as we breathe in, the breath nice and easy. Maybe the movement not quite as big as it was when we had deeper breaths. Allow ourselves to be heavy through the back of the body, the back of the shoulders, softening through the arms, all the way down to the fingers and thumbs, through the forearms. Checking that the head is heavy down to the floor. Making sure we have some length down the back of the neck, as well as the front of the neck. We have softness through the face, from the hairline down to the eyebrows, from the sides of the face, all the way to the center of our eyebrows above the top of the nose. Letting go of any tension around the eye sockets, allowing the eyeballs to be heavy down to the floor. Letting go across the cheekbones. Checking that the space in the mouth is there, particularly between the lower and upper teeth at the back. Checking where the tongue is. Checking that the lips are soft. And then we just watch as our breath enters the body effortlessly and leaves. A continuous movement of in and out breath. We're not aiming to do anything in particular with it, we're just watching it. Just watching how the body moves ever so subtly as we breathe in and as we breathe out. So we're going to continue to stay here in this position, if that's comfortable for you. You stay as long as you like. You don't need me here for that. Obviously, if you prefer to get up and finish your practice here, sometimes it's nice to finish with a little bit of seated to just adjust, but you can just continue lying there. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.